Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. It's Season 3, Episode 3, and today we go away to Welling after a quite remarkable start to the season sees us up in the playoffs. That's right, despite the iffy run of form just before this game, we are still up in the top 7 and we're looking to get back to winning ways to try and close that gap to the top of the table, although I don't expect it will last all year. As always, if you are new to the channel, subscribe for daily Football Manager content from both this story, The Head Coach, which finally looks like it's back on track, as well as my other story, Part of the Furniture with Torquay United, where there's been plenty of drama over the last couple of weeks. And finally, FIFA 19 Career Mode content every Friday, where we're doing another lower league save with Crew Alexandra. And as someone quite new to this, a massive thanks to everyone that's been watching so far. But on to today's action. We're back focusing on the head coach as things are finally starting to go to plan. After 2 seasons of disappointment, we're back on track and we're flying high with Slough Town, the club who are willing to give us a chance despite our failings beforehand. Since the last episode where we beat our first club, Hemel Hempstead, in a bit of a rivalry and a reunion, a game that made me so happy with an away win. But since then we haven't had any signings, we've just had a few games on the pitch, so let's have a look at the action. Obviously you're with me for that Hemel Hempstead 1-0 win, where Jack Bridge was the hero. We then played our cup replay just 3 days later, had to rotate again. After an hour we were struggling just like the first tie, so we had to bring on one of the main men, Jatta, and he delivered with a hat-trick in half an hour. Despite the fact we were playing against 10 men, it took our first choice striker to break them down. We then played a side that have been our bogey team in our other story, Part of the Furniture. It was Bromley at home. Jatta scored again, continuing his good form, and his strike partner Pappy Gay with another goal late on to ensure a 2-0 victory. Before we played our following FA Cup tie at home to Dorchester, this time the 3rd qualifying round. We did rotate again, but we had a few stronger options on the pitch and on the bench. Luke Fairlamb got 2 penalties in that game, an own goal, and then 2 of our first choice substitutes, McCarker and Gay, wrapped up a 5-1 win there. Before we continued our unbelievable league form, I'm just looking at how many wins in a row that is. This was the 7th win in a row, where we beat Havant and Waterlooville 3-0, Jatta with a brace, and Pappy Gay scoring in between those goals. We then went away to East Thurrock where the winning run stopped, but we managed to get a brilliant result in the circumstances. We went down to 10 men after 25 minutes. Dearman sent off for a challenge which was a little bit harsh. The ban didn't get overturned, but it was one where our assistant recommended we appealed. Pappy Gay gave us the lead shortly after, and we let in a goal almost immediately, but held on for a brilliant point overall. Before we went away to Leyton Orient in the FA Cup, and because of our league form we rotated a bit and played some of our backup players. We also had a few injuries and suspensions, and that showed in a 5-2 defeat. But our striker on loan from the Football League, Ken Charles, showed a bit of his quality as he bagged 2 goals, and he's been a lot closer to the team since that game. We then had this remarkable game against Chesham. It finished 7-4, but it was actually 6-3 at half-time. Jatta got 4 goals including a penalty. Batten, Gay and McCarker all contributed too. But we really struggled at the back in this one, and it started a run of conceding goals, which you can see has harmed us in the last few games. We played away at Carshalton and drew 3-3. It's a result that we would have been delighted with last season, but this year we were absolutely devastated. We went 3-2 up in the first minute of stoppage time, but then they still managed to get an equaliser in the 94th minute. Despite that, at the end of that game just 2 matches ago, we were top of the league, which is quite remarkable given where we were last season. We then played away to Bath, the other club we might have been at if we'd have just held off with this Slough Town offer. We did accept it because we were so eager to get a club after 3 months of unemployment, but we'd also had an interview at Bath just beforehand, and if we'd waited we may well have had a job there. But we got a 3-3 draw away from home. We were actually 3-0 up after 13 minutes and threw it away. Godfrey Poku, the former Luton player, a holding midfielder, scoring the equaliser in the 91st. Before in the last game we lost at home to Wealdstone. McCarker got a goal to put us back on level terms with 10 minutes to go, but again another late goal harmed us, and that's 3 matches in a row where we've lost points in stoppage time. So the fine margins are destroying the confidence, but we go into this game against Welling with plenty of hope and optimism. It's 9th v 5th and we're the side in 5th, and I couldn't have expected that coming into it at the start of the season. We're just 4 points off the top as we've mentioned, and perhaps more importantly we're 20 points off the relegation zone, so an absolutely fantastic showing so far, and we've even got a 10-point gap to the bottom half. Seika Jatta's the top scorer in the league, as you can see. Some remarkable runs of goal scoring from him, and we go into today's game hoping to get a result, and even back to winning ways, as Welling have lost 5 in a row after a fantastic start to the season themselves. The one thing I have noticed, because the last couple of games, the first two of this season, were away from home on camera, I didn't notice that we'd actually changed our stadium over the summer. I know it was something that must have been already planned, but we've moved up into a 3,200 capacity stadium, very minimal rent and 709 seats. They're still searching for a site for a new stadium, so I guess we're just moving between rented facilities at the minute, but nevertheless it's a slight upgrade, and I don't know what the geography situation is with it, so I won't get involved with that, but on the face of it, statistically, it's a quite good move. We're slight favourites for this one, but truly both teams are in poor form. Let's look at the team we've got today. It's fairly familiar. We've got a couple that have had a bit of a crisis in confidence recently. Pappy Gay hasn't scored for a few games and has missed a lot of chances. So we're giving Ken Charles a chance after his heroics away at Leyton Orient. And we've also dropped our right back Williams low. He's just 19 years of age and has had a real sticky spell. So Wes Atkinson, the experienced man, comes back in. And it's not much of a downgrade in truth. Aside from that, we're at full strength, so we've got Freeman in goal, Atkinson and Dearman are the fullbacks with Batten and Okadina in the middle, Daly and Redding the wingers with Bridge and McCarker in central midfield, and Jatta partners Charles up front today, but Pappy Gay's still on the bench, and Ramirez is just about back to full fitness, and takes his place among the substitutes as well. Let's get into the game and hope we can pull off a result. We need to get back to winning ways, and whichever side wins this, it's probably going to turn around their season and their form for the next 5 or 6 matches. They're playing a 4-3-3. We've seen that a lot of times this season. We've mentioned it before. We're going to tell the lads to prove a point. They seem quite motivated, so hopefully that will work out well. And we're quite zoomed out there, so we'll go in as far as possible. But they've obviously got a bit of a weird camera angle at their stadium. Jatta's won the ball back 35 yards out. Because of Charles coming into the team, he's switched to the pressing forward, as Charles can only play as the advanced man. Welling are in immediately, and Freeman makes the save. We're going to have to defend the corner as well. It's an outswinger from the right. Dearman heads it back out to the taker. Brooks with the ball in is headed away brilliantly again. But again, 35 yards out. Bowery's bringing it forward to Rodden. Rodden gets the ball out to the left-hand side for them for their skipper and left-back. Watts gets the ball out to Bowery and over the top it goes. Griffiths is found, but it's just over hit and it's both a free kick for offside and it would have been a goal kick anyway. They're coming forward down the left again, bringing it over halfway. They're playing quite direct to their centre forward and their wingers are getting up very quick to support. They've got Watts 35 yards out in the middle of the pitch, out to Cottrell and Watts again. They're just playing a 1-2 and keeping possession, using that extra man in midfield as they get Griffiths behind on the left again. Crosses to Brooks at the back post and we're behind within 3 minutes. We need to make some changes almost immediately. We've got to be more disciplined because that front three's catching us out. This is a team that hasn't won in 5 games and we can't let them have their confidence boost today. Anderson with a ball into Griffiths, but it's headed away. It's only fallen to the centre forward on the right side of the area. The cross is blocked, but it's out to Anderson. Anderson finds the centre forward again. Back to the skipper, it's blocked and cleared away, but they've got the ball on the edge of the box yet again. Watts to Ambrosine, the captain. Watts again with a shot, but it's off target, and we're definitely going to do that defensively after the next attack because this has been embarrassing so far. Anderson with a free kick into the box. It's knocked down, it's 2-0, and it's going to be too late now. We're going to change our defensive width to narrow, and I'm not quite sure how it's been this bad. There's not much else I can do in truth. I'm just checking they're staying on their feet. They are, but despite that, we're giving away so many free kicks. Every chance they've had so far has come from them, whether it's been fouls or offsides. We've told the lads to show some passion as we have a throw in from the left. We just throw it straight to them and they bring it away over halfway with their skipper. Griffiths coming forward now to Watts. Watts has got the ball inside to Anderson, and while Welling have lost 5 games in a row, it's clear to see that our confidence has been affected more as they just absolutely dominate possession in the middle and they've had the only chances of the match. We haven't even had a shot yet, let alone on target. We haven't registered an effort on goal. We've only had just over 40% possession and Welling look like the far superior side playing the football here, and we've got an awful lot of work to do to get our confidence back. Brooks on the edge, it's blocked by Batten behind, but now it's a corner again and they look like scoring every time they come forward, and this is possibly the worst performance I've seen by Slough since I've been at the club. We've got a throw in on the right in attacking area. We managed to throw it to our own man this time. Atkinson to Jatta at the back post. And there's one thing that never changes here. Jatta's the ever reliable man as he nods in from 6 yards at the back stick. And on half an hour, we've managed to get a goal back undeservedly. The corner comes in. It's knocked down for Watts again. Griffiths shoot and a 3-1 up immediately. It's absolutely atrocious defending. I've no idea where it's come from because we've been good defensively until the last 3 games. And it's just all gone wrong. It started with that Chesham game, the 7-4 at home. Then 2-3 all draws and a defeat at home to Wealdstone. We just cannot turn it around after a start to the season which actually had us one of the best defences in the league, and on the stroke of half time we're 3-1 down, and I would not be surprised if we went in at 4. The corner's in, they've knocked it down, the same routine every time. It's the routine we've used at Torquay and we just can't handle it. We don't have many big men here and it seems to be harming us. They've gone for the front post this time and got it back to the taker. Into Anderson, it's 4-1 and I am going to go absolutely ballistic at half time. We're going to change the defensive width back to what we normally do. We're going to distribute quickly. We're going to counter-press because every time we defend we're letting in a goal, and we're also going to go attacking once those tactical changes have been made. But an embarrassing performance, and on the stroke of half-time it looks like Welling are finally going to get back to winning games because we've just laid down and let them walk over us. It's half-time and it's fair to say we've saved the worst performances in this series for on camera, as we've lost again 4-1 in the first half, and we've got to get back to winning ways, and it's not going to be in this game, but I at least want respectability in the second half. Welling have the counter-attack from the kick-off, and we've just got to try and defend and hit them very, very quickly and get a couple of goals back. If we can get one back, then we might be able to make changes. Ken Charles has been a gamble that hasn't paid off. He's done well in a couple of games off the bench, but in this one he's been awful, and with 46 minutes gone, I'm going to make the change already. Pappy Gay's going to come on as the pressing forward, and we're also going to change Jassa back to his preferred role, the advanced man. Welling bringing the ball away at right back with Cottrell. It's passed out, a long ball over the top to Anaya. The centre forward for them has another free shot at goal, and it's behind for an outswinging corner, and we know what the routine is here. Into the back post and 5-1 probably. We've lost out in the air again, but luckily it falls for Freeman this time. Bridge has had a poor game as well. Ramirez on for Makaka and Jack Bridge replaced by Brandon Kane the youngster, as all three of those performers that have come off today have been absolutely embarrassing, to be honest. We've got warnings to close loads of people down and we're managing to hide the screen for the Welling attack. They've got the ball on the edge of the box again to the right hand side. Delivered to the back post, Griffiths knocks it down and they've missed an absolute sitter there with their centre forward. It should have been 5 in truth. And with 25 minutes to go we survive at 4-1, and when you're surviving at 4-1 you know it's a very bad day for you. They've got another attacking throw on the right. We don't look like getting into this game. Ball's into Griffiths and it's cleared away off the line. A last-ditch challenge cleared towards Gay. We're going very attacking for the last 10 minutes and we'll see if it makes a difference. It hasn't in terms of chances. Welling with the free kick again and Freeman makes the save. Long ball down the field by the keeper. Daly's free on the right. We've got 3 on 3 if we can find the ball to Gay. Gay's in the box, blocks for Ramirez and it's a good save behind for a corner. Finally a quick counter-attack. Just 45 seconds of stoppage time to go, and it ends the exact same way as it started this game. A Welling free kick, a Welling chance, and thankfully this occasion Freeman managed to make the save. Jatta's lost out in the air and Welling get it back to the keeper, and how we've produced this performance against a side that hasn't even got a point in ages is absolutely unbelievable. 5 successive defeats for them, and we've managed to be beaten 4-1 after a quite diabolical first half performance, and there is going to be a lot of extra training this week for these lads. Daly gets the ball on the right hand side, but the game's over. It's a 4-1 defeat, a terrible performance and completely deserved. All the goals were in the first half, and every time they had an attack they looked like scoring. We're going to be very aggressive in this one. Wasn't good enough. They seem to be motivated, but they keep saying this after every game and they're not reacting. And I've got a real fear we're going to start to slide down the league again now. We're already out of the playoffs with that defeat. And we're just 2 defeats away from dropping down to 11th behind Hemel Hempstead. We really need to find an answer to this mini crisis quickly. I don't know what's happened to the defence. The back 5 are exactly the same, but they suddenly seem to be completely inept. I know we have youngsters and they're going to be inconsistent at times, but this has gone on a little bit too long now. We'll work on some extra training for them and hopefully we'll be back in form by the time we come back for the next episode. There's no real news items there other than telling us our promotion bid takes a hit, which we weren't really looking at this season anyway. If we go to the schedule, we'll look for when the next game's going to be. There's not too many games between now and the New Year, surprisingly, and there are a couple of the bigger teams in the league coming here in January. We've got Dartford visiting us before a game away at Dulwich Hamlet in mid-January. 2 games back-to-back that are absolutely huge in this league, and I think they're both right up there at the top. Dulwich Hamlet are top and Dartford are third. So that'll be the next episode, providing we don't get a big FA Trophy tie, and hopefully we'll have some more transfer news then as well, because our director of football's still got 10,000 to spend, as well as £2 on the wage budget a week. But a disappointing episode, but it doesn't change the fact it's been a positive season so far. We just hope this downward spiral doesn't continue and we can find a way back to consistency. But that will be all for this episode. If you did enjoy it, please put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments what you think I should do defensively to make the changes. I don't really want to go to a defensive formation and we don't have a natural holding midfielder in the team. We could go to a back three, but I've never been able to make that work, and it's not the sort of formation I like as a manager, and to sacrifice that front two that's done so well this season seems a bit of a shame just to try and stop leaking goals. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from this story, the head coach with Slough Town at the moment, and my other football manager story, part of the furniture, the one club challenge where we're trying to take Torquay United from the bottom playable league to the top. As I mentioned at the start, we've had lots of action in that the last week or two, so go and catch up if you haven't seen that story yet. Finally, there's FIFA 19 content every Friday on the channel at 4:30 PM. We're doing a lower league career there, starting with Crewe Alexandra, with the same aim of taking them from the bottom playable league, League 2, all the way to the top of the Premier League. But a massive thanks for watching this one as always, and we'll see you next time.